The PlayStation console is a 32-bit video game console that was created by Sony Computer Entertainment. PlayStation came out in Japan on December 3, 1994. The console would then ship to North America on September 9, 1995, and in Europe on September 29, 1995. The PlayStation would then be released for Oceania on November 15, 1995. The console would cost $299. The system would sell 102.49 million consoles worldwide. The most popular games on the system would be Gran Turismo, which had sold 10.85 million copies, Gran Turismo 2, which sold 9.97 million copies, and Final Fantasy VII with 9.72 million units sold. The PlayStation went through many changes. One change is that the controller, which originally had long handles and lack of analog sticks. In 1997, Sony would replace the controller with its dual analog controller, which gave the PlayStation a controller with analog sticks. Eventually, the dual analog controller would be replaced by the DualShock controller, which added vibrators to the controllers. A second change that occurred over time is that the console itself would change. In 1997, Sony would create a PlayStation called the NetYarzo. The NetYarzo was a development kit for the PlayStation that gave players the option of writing their own computer code and complete the computer code and send it to the PlayStation. The NetYarzo costed $750. In July 7th of 2000, Sony would release the PS1, which was a smaller but more portable version of the console. These are all the changes that occurred to the PlayStation over the years. The reason why the PlayStation is important is because it was the most successful system that ran on CDs and still is one of the most successful systems to run on CDs. And it also was the first video game system, one of the first video game systems to run on CDs instead of cartridges. It wasn't the first, but it was still important because it popularized it. Also, the PlayStation is one of the first consoles to be able to play music and novel versions of CDs within its system. Also, it was the first system to outsell a Nintendo system in many, many years. Also, this is the first time Sony would make a video game system, and since it became so popular, it would go on to making PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4, and many great games. The most memorable games that came out of the PlayStation 1 that are still popular today would be Ape Escape, the Grand Theft Auto series, the Crash Bandicoot series, Gran Turismo series, Resident Evil series, Hot Shots Golf, the Persona series, the Spyro series, the Tekken series, the Tomb Raider series, and the Twisted Metal series.